Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning into this very special episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents, and today I'm going to deviate from my usual reviews, consisting of the DC Eagle Moss lead figure collection, which you can check out at the link I'm going to provide right here. I usually do those figures, but I'm deviating today because I also have been a proud member of Club Lion Force through MattyCollector.com and have all of the lions for Voltron. So I thought I'd do a quick review on these guys. I won't dilly-dally here. I'm going to cover all 5 lions, all 5 pilots, the weapons, Sven, the club exclusive character, and Voltron itself. I'll show the transformation really quick. I won't dilly-dally on that, though. I will not cover any of the packaging, except for Allura, because there's something funny I noticed on there that I don't remember anyone else talking about. If you dig this video, please subscribe, please like, check out Pixel Dan and Optibotimus, who have also done excellent reviews on these guys, and they have covered every lion, every figure individually. If you want more in-depth, a more in-depth look at these toys, they'll give it to you. Big fans of theirs. They inspired me to do this. Sit back, relax, please enjoy MonkeyBoy's special presentation of the MattyCollector.com Club Lion Force Voltron. Alright, starting at the beginning, of course, we have Lance, the very first pilot released as part of Club Lion Force. Pilot of the Red Lion, of course, even though he wears blue. And can I just say, as a quick side note, I loved that about the old series, that the pilots' outfits didn't necessarily match color-wise with their lion. And that's something that's always bothered me since back with the Third Dimension show, when they changed that and made all the pilots' uniforms the same color as their lions. I mean, it's just a nitpick, I guess, but that's me. I liked it that they didn't match. I figured it was their rank, and they just happened to pilot a different colored lion. Anyway, Lance here, very nice. I'm sure you've seen lots of other reviews about these figures, so the articulation's really great. Ball joints in the shoulders, they twist at the forearms, and bend at the elbows. They do have guns on their hips, but they are not removable. They're permanently holstered. So, I mean, I don't mind that. I think it's kind of cool. In a sense, you don't have to worry about losing it that way. Hips are on nice big hinge joints, knees bend, they twist a little too, he twists at the waist. There's great articulation on these guys. All of them are the same. All the molds are slightly different though, which is also really cool. You can see the paint job's pretty nice. My torso on him is a slightly off-white. It's just a minor paint inconsistency, but for the most part he is really, really cool. Even a little insignia there. Of course he has the removable head, so you can get rid of your anime mullet head right there and switch it out for the piloted version instead. And they just pop right on and off. They're really snug, really secure, but also fairly simple to slip on and off. And you can see he looks really good that way too. And he comes with a red key for the Red Lion, which also acts as a base. So you can see there's a little peg for the foot, holes in the bottom. Although I have to say they really don't need them. They're all pretty stable on their own. They stand pretty easy and are very posable. On to the Red Lion. Here we have Red Lion, and of course this was the very first Voltron piece, lion I guess, in the series that they released alongside Lance. You got them together, of course. I like it. It's nice. The size of these things are really great, and the fact that they're so accurate to the cartoon show I really like. There are problems that I have with it, but not necessarily the same problems that most other people that have criticized these toys, or critiqued these toys, I should say, have had. Although some of them are the same, I suppose. You can see he comes with his little weapon, just like the classic toy used to, which I dig. It's a nice homage. And, pretty nice. Some articulation. You can crack him at the waist there, which also, of course, is his elbow when he's Voltron. Head twists. Legs have some motion to them. Not a whole lot, though, which is one of the criticisms I have. You can see it just, you know, not a whole lot. Once you get to there, there's just nothing. You get a couple clicks, and then up in here, it's just nothing. So, just okay as far as articulation goes. You can get some posability out of them. I like the fact that the tail's a little movable and things. So, pretty cool. And of course, the cockpit on the top, you're supposed to use the key, but your fingernails can work. And it just pops right open, and you got a cockpit for Lance on the inside. So, yeah, cool. Dig it. Some better pictures of both Lance and the Red Lion here in just a second. As you can see, Lance is painted very nicely. There's very little smudging or blemishes on him. There are a couple little things on the chest that are little discolorations, but you really don't notice it unless you're looking closely. The gun, while it is attached to his hip permanently and is non-removable, is nicely detailed. There's even some detail on the handle of the gun itself. Love the fact that the belt is detailed, the little symbol on their chest for the Lion Force, and the head sculpt is very nice, looks show accurate. I like that both sides are different. He has that anime mullet going on. Even with the helmet on, it looks good. It looks as it should. I like the fact that they included the two separate heads for all the characters. The only misgiving I have about that is the fact that they are so small and I can see them being lost pretty easily. But he looks good. Looks good in the face, looks good with the helmet on. He's got a nice clear visor, even if it doesn't sit on his face completely perfectly. And of course he has the red key, which doubles as his base. The red lion is also very nicely done for what it is. It's one of the smaller lions. Red and green are the two smallest, of course, but there are some nice details. It looks just like the cartoon show. I don't mind the gray legs. I think it looks fine. I understand the argument for the silver, but there it is. The head sculpt is very nice. All the sculpt is really nice, actually. There's great details all over it. Little panels. The paint is nice on red for the most part. There are a couple little nicks and scratches and things here, but I think that's sort of normal with a figure like this. He also has, of course, his weapon, which is nice. It's one of the more nicely detailed weapons that the Lions come with. A couple are really basic and plain, like Green's is really ugly. There's very little articulation, unfortunately. Of course, that has to do with the mechanism. He does have some movement in the waist, movement in the legs, the knees, the ankles, that sort of thing. The key, of course, fits into the back and unlocks the cockpit for Lance to sit in. It's pretty spacious, actually. He fits in there rather comfortably. And there are panels that are stickers on the inside, replicating the panels from the inside of the cockpit on the cartoon show. And, of course, there is Lance sitting inside of Red Lion, and you can see just how big it is by comparison to the figure. Here we have the second pilot released in the series for Club Lion Force, Hunk, the yellow pilot. Also pilots the yellow lion appropriately. I like him a lot too. He's nice. My figure is really weak though in his hip joints. He's very, very flimsy. I have a very hard time posing him. So this is actually the only one of the figures that I have where his base does come in handy when posing him. Again, very nice figure, great colors, great paint. You know, articulation is the same. He twisted the hips, ball joints in the shoulders, the hips are on these hinges, knees, forearms, elbows, very nice. Fake gun on hip. He has the logo for VOLTRON Force there. Head has twistability, and again, a great version, a great look for the character. He looks just like he used to on the cartoon show. Even his skin tone is different from the other pilots, which is exactly like it was, and you can see his bandana peeking out underneath his hair there, which is a really cool touch. Again, head pops off. Oh my god! Yeah, he's got his little ball joint thing there. He can pop on his helmeted head. Ta-da! So now he's all piloted up, ready to go. And he comes with the yellow key for the yellow lion. And I want to point out too, you can see the different shade. His is more of a gold than it is a lion, a yellow, like the lion. I like that. I like the fact that it stands out a little bit. It's decent. I think if he had been that brighter yellow, it would have looked really weird. So I do like this gold color. And next we'll look at the lion. And here we have the yellow lion, the second lion released as part of Club Lion Force and on MattyCollector.com if you want part of the subscription. Again, really awesome rendition of the lion. Love the paint job, love the colors. I like this yellow. I like this shade of yellow. I know there have been some that have complained about this shade being too bright, I guess, or too vibrant, but I mean, they're going for the old cartoon show look. They're not going for the Matchbox toys or the Toonami version that came out a few years ago. They're going for the old school cartoon, so I like that. Same thing applies with the legs. People have complained that the legs aren't that vac metallized, you know, or that nice shiny silver paint or die-cast metal. I don't mind this. I like the fact that they're gray. First of all, because they're not going to turn color on me eventually, or chip or anything like that. And secondly, because this is how it looked in the cartoon, and I get what they're going for. I see the complaints. I am just not one of them. I like it overall. Again, my biggest complaint with him is the articulation. There's not much. The legs have even less motion than Red. Lion did, and Green Lion for that matter. Same thing with the back legs. The tail is more posable. It's not a spring-loaded tail like Red Lion or Green Lion. He also comes with his weapon, just like the old toy did, which is, you know, cool if you like that kind of thing. They did make all their teeth that silver, which is nice. I like that. So you get a little bit of it. I just think it would have been too much on the legs. Blue eyes, too, which is great. He's the only lion with blue eyes, which is cool. Yeah, I like it. But again, not a whole lot of posability. That's my biggest complaint with all of these, is the articulation is very lacking. And there's the cockpit for Hunk to sit in. So yeah, it's a cool toy though. It's a great rendition. I like it. I just wish more articulation, especially on the leg lions, blue and yellow. Better pictures here in just a moment.
Hunk, the yellow pilot, and pilot of the yellow lion, is very nicely detailed as well. I love the yellow on this guy too. I like the fact that it's a nice deeper yellow. It's almost golden really in color, which I appreciate. I think it's great. Again, he has the gun on the hip in his holster. It is non-removable, well sculpted, and bigger than the other characters as well. Hunk, too, is kind of chunky, which I dig. He's always been a little heavy set, according to the cartoon show and everything, and I like the fact that he's so different than the others. He's taller, he's bulkier. The head sculpt is really nice as well. His skin tone is a little bit more yellow than the other characters, which is great. He looked different on the cartoon show as well. The details are really what set these figures apart for me, anyway. And he looks good with the helmet on as well. It's faithful, he looks pretty good. His neck looks a little bit long when he has the helmet on. I think that's due to the fact that he has no hair. I'm not sure. It just looks a little strange, but he looks good overall. Comes, of course, with the yellow key. Stands on it as a base, and you can see there just how different the two yellows are. As for Yellow Lion, it is massive in size. It is very, very large. Both yellow and blue are quite a bit larger than red and green, but not quite as big as black. Nicely detailed. I really do like yellow quite a bit. I like the shade of yellow they used on it. I know it's a pretty hot yellow, but that's okay by me. I think it looks good. Again, I'm okay with the gray legs, no silver. Great paneling, clean paint for the most part. A couple smudges here and there, but nothing too awful. He also, of course, has his weapon, which can rest in his mouth fairly comfortably, and again, another really nicely detailed weapon. And the head on this guy is great. Lots of nice details, great molding, love those ears, love the fact that he has blue eyes, too. He's the only lion that doesn't have yellow eyes. Of course, the key fits into the back of the lion on top of that bazooka launcher thingy there, which I think is a great detail. And it reveals the cockpit that Hunk can fit inside of. It is pretty roomy, actually. Panels and things that are decals on the inside to replicate the way it looked on the show. And, of course, a final shot of Hunk inside of Yellow Lion, and that will show you exactly how big this figure really is.
Here's Pidge, the third pilot that they released as part of Club Lion Force, or on MattyCollector.com. The green pilot of the Green Lion as well, appropriately. They did arm, leg. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, then there, I just figured it out for you. He's nice. He is tiny. He's definitely not 3 3/4. He's more like maybe 2.5, maybe, somewhere in there. He's nice, same articulation, twist at the waist, tiny little fake gun on his hip, which is kind of cool. Great paint job yet again. The hair is big and wild. I like that, and I like the fact that he has his, I don't know what you would call that. I don't want to call it what the ladies call it, because he's not a lady, but he's got his hair pulled back with that little band there, I guess. Okay, it's a hairband, whatever. I like the glasses. He's got the logo, again, painted on the chest very nicely. Overall, pretty cool, pretty clean. Again, the head pops right off, and you can pop on his helmeted head, which looks a little weird compared to the other ones. I've seen some other people comment on this on message boards, and Pixel Dan, I think, mentioned he looks a little weird in it. And I think part of that is the fact that he doesn't have a visor, which most people have commented on. He just wears his glasses, which is accurate to the show. He never had a visor. And also, his hair isn't peeking out from under the helmet, and I think that might be part of it too. It looks sort of strange, especially when you consider, oh no, I dropped his head! Especially when you consider the hair on the haired head hangs down past his neck a little bit. I think that might be why it looks a little strange with the helmeted head. And also, just so you can see how tiny he is, there's Hunk, and there's Lance, the other two that have been released so far. So you can see he's tiny when compared to them, which again, I just think shows off how well made he really is. The only problem on mine, the legs are a little bowed, you can see. So he has some trouble standing, but it's not too awful. Again, he comes with the green key with a little peg. He will use it as a base if you want him to. On to Green Lion. And here we have Green Lion, the third Lion released on MattyCollector.com as part of Club Lion Force, and of course, Pidge's Ride. Another great rendition. He looks perfect, just like he used to on the show. Different from Red Lion. I know it's hard to tell here. You'll see I'll have some comparison shots here near the end of him with Red Lion, but he is different. He is a much more rounded design. I'm sure anyone that's familiar with Voltron is familiar with that. The ears are different, he's got different markings on the side of the head, and he's much more sleek. He's aerodynamic, he's curved, whereas if you look at Red Lion, he's boxy, squared off, very square. Again, same articulation as the other lions, very limited, some in the wrists, some in what would be the elbows, but again, because of that play action feature, the transformability thing, he's limited. Does move at the waist a little bit, because again it doubles as Voltron's elbow. Twists at the head, jaw opens, comes with another weapon, just like the old school, which I, again, think is kind of neat. Sort of plain on this one, though. A little disappointed with the look of that, but whatever. And, you know, nice. Overall, pretty nice. Coloration's good, paint is good. A little plain compared to some of the other ones. There's not as much going on here with him. And again, the cockpit, his is really easy to open. You don't need a key at all. It just splits right open, and you have a nice little cockpit for Pidge to chill out in. I like it. Again, nice. Scale, size, appropriate. Looks good with the rest. Bigger than you think, actually. Even though the red and green are the smallest of the 5, they are still quite large. Better pictures in a moment.
Pidge, the green pilot, and pilot of the Green Lion. He's okay. He's very small, so I give a lot of credit there for the detail that is here. For the most part, he's alright. The legs on mine are really bowed. It makes it very difficult for him to stand. Also has a gun molded onto the side of the hip, non-removable, very tiny as well, to match the rest of him. He does have a very nicely detailed belt and the logo on the chest for the Lion Force team. And the head sculpt, especially the unhelmeted head sculpt, is outstanding on him. Love the glasses, love the headband. The fact that it's that slightly different shade of green is really cool. The look on his face is great. The hair is big and wild. I wish I liked the helmeted version as much. I don't. I think it's because it just looks awkward. There is a weird shape to it where the back of his head meets the helmet, and I think if they had maybe had his hair peeking out from underneath it a little bit or something there, it would help with the overall look. But he is nice, like I said, especially when you consider the fact that he's only like 2.5 inches tall. Really cool. Comes with a green key to stand on, acts as a base if you need it. Onto the Green Lion, which is really cool, and I know that it looks very similar to Red, but it is not. Trust me, it's not. I'll show you a couple pictures here in a minute, but it's really nicely detailed. It's cool. There are great panels, great little things. The legs look nice. The articulation is, again, really lousy because of the gimmicky mechanism thing, the spring-loaded legs and all that. But he's very dull as far as paint goes. He's one solid color, basically, that green. He has that red panel on the middle of his back, and he has the yellow on the jaws and the eyes, and that's about it. There's really not a whole lot going on, but it's cool. He's very aerodynamic looking, and here I'll show you some pictures with Red Lion, and you can see, although they are similar, they are quite different. Red is much more boxy, much more squared, whereas green is a much more streamlined looking lion. Faces are even different, ears are different, so I like the fact that they are similar, but like I said, very different in detail when you look at them closely. Green key fits into the back of Green Lion to open the cockpit for Pidge, and it's one of the nicest detailed, most nicely detailed cockpits out of all the lions. Lots of room for him because he is so small. Decals inside to replicate the panels of the computer systems, and as you can see in one last shot, Pidge inside of Green Lion, and he is very, very small when compared to the lion that he pilots.
And here we have Princess Allura, pilot of the Blue Lion, the 4th pilot in the Matty Collector Voltron collection here, Club Lion Force collection, wearing her pink jumpsuit, and again, like Lance before her, her jumpsuit does not match her lion, which I like. I always liked that. I thought it denounced rank, as I said before, and I thought she wore pink because she was a princess. Maybe it was the royal color for her. Anyway, the figure itself is really, really great. Love the colors. Articulation is the same as the other figures. She's got hinge joints on her hips. She bends at the knees. Lots of articulation. Arms, elbows, forearms. Her head turns around. Her head is also really nice. It's a great sculpt all the way around. You can see the body mold is completely different. It's a female buck this time, and all the other ones, of course, have been guys, and even the guys are all different. So every figure is unique, which is, I think, really nice. Clean. Hers is the only one I have, too. Maybe Keith is okay off the top of my head. She doesn't have any sort of smudges or discoloration on the white parts of her suit. She's a very clean figure, which I like. And the head sculpt, I think, is great. Love it. Looks just like her. Love that she has that tiara. You can see that silver tiara, and it goes all the way up through her hair. The hair is also really nicely detailed. The bun in her head, the braids on the sides, really, really nice. Her head is also removable, and she comes with her helmeted version. The helmeted version's okay. A complaint that I think most have had, I know Pixel Dan mentioned it, I think Optibotimus mentioned it, is that when she has the helmet on her head, she sort of looks down. You can see she has a tendency, she kind of wants to look down. Now, she looks like a badass when she does it, but it's also sort of hard to see her. And mine, you can see the lens is a little foggy over her left eye there. But overall, very, very nice. She comes with the blue key for the blue lion. It also acts as a base for her. It's got the little peg, so it'll help her stand if need be. And yeah, really nice figure. On to Blue Lion. Here we have Blue Lion, the 4th lion in Voltron from MattyCollector.com, part of the Club Lion Force collection, or if you ordered it off the website. A nice lion, just like Yellow, basically. It's a big figure, which I really dig. The size of these things is really great. If you get them for any reason at all, that's one of them, I think, is just the scale and everything is almost perfect, I would say. And the fact that you can put the pilots back in them, like the old Panache Place toys, is just an awesome feature. That being said, it's not without its problems. You can see it's just basically like Yellow, one big hunk of plastic. There's very little by way of articulation. A lot of that, unfortunately, has to do with the fact that they put the play feature on here. The legs do move a little bit, but you can see very little once you get to here. It doesn't do anything. Same with this. You get like 2 clicks in the knee, a couple clicks in the ankles. Same thing for the front. Yellow and blue have the least articulation of all the lions. Black has the most. Red and green fall somewhere in the middle. Head swivels a little bit. Cannot go up and down because, again, the play feature, that's all she'll do. And as you can see, she also has, I keep calling her she, I guess that's because Allura pilots her. The Blue Lion also has its little weapon here, and unlike the other lions, there are no teeth marks, indentations, or places for it to grip. It just sort of hangs in the mouth. So yeah, whatever. Another thing that people have mentioned is the fact that there's very little going on the top of the head. Some of the Matchbox versions and the die-cast ones and the Toynami one, I know, has a lot of artwork going on up there. And, I mean, I miss it a little bit, but not entirely. I sometimes think they overdo it. So, and again, they're going for the animated version, and I don't remember there being a whole lot of that on the top of this in the animated. So, Blue Lion, very nice. Really like the head on this one, too. It looks like a crown. It looks very regal. Like it should be a princess's. Also opens up on the top, little spot for the keyhole. Don't really need the key, it's very easy to get. You can see, nice little cockpit for Allura to chill out in, and she fits very nicely inside. A nice lion, but again, really poor articulation. Better pictures, just a moment.
Really fast, I want to talk about Princess Allura's packaging. She's the only one I'm going to mention because if you flip it around to the back side where it talks about her and which lion she pilots, it also shows on the back which key belongs to each pilot. And if you look in the corner of her box art, her key is pink, not blue. And I noticed that. I don't know if anyone else has pointed that out. I haven't paid that much attention. But I just think that's kind of funny and interesting and shocking that slipped through Matty Collector quality control. As for Princess Allura, she is very nice. I love the shade of pink that they used. She is probably one of the cleanest paints out of all of them. Even the white sections of her outfit have no discoloration, no blemishes, nothing, at least not that I can see. She also has a gun mounted on her hip that is molded there. It will not come off. She has the the Lion Force logo on her chest, and the belt is nicely detailed. And she, too, is, I think, pretty cute. I love the big eyes. It's very anime. Her hair is outstanding. Her hair is probably one of the coolest things about this figure, and she is far superior helmet-less than she is with the helmet on. The helmet on, it just looks strange. It almost looks like her head is too small. The visor on mine, as I said, is a little bit discolored. It's got like some haziness to it. But the unhelmeted version is very, very nice. Definitely preferable. Love the tiara too. Really outstanding. And of course, she comes with the blue key, which acts as a base for her to stand on if you need it. Finally, the Blue Lion here is really cool. I like this one a lot as well. Again, the articulation is non-existent. Basically, it's the same as the Yellow Lion, one big piece of plastic. The legs do have some motion, the head turns back and forth. The paint is what I really like about this guy, though. There's a lot going on here, lots of different colors, lots of nice details. Really love the head on this one, too. I like the fact that it looks like it has a crown. It looks regal. That black in the center of the forehead is nice with that little green dot. I know it would have been nice if there had been a little more detail going on there, but at least there is something, and it is cartoon accurate as far as I know. The lion also has, of course, the weapon that just kind of hangs in the mouth there, but it is a nice designed weapon. It looks good. And, of course, can't talk about blue without talking about yellow. You can see body styles are almost identical, except for, of course, the aesthetic differences between the two. Colorations are totally different. Head sculpts are also completely different, which I really love. That's where the characters of the lions really show through, are in the face and head sculpt on these toys. I think they look really cool. They have their own personalities that really shine through. Blue key, of course, fits into the back of Blue Lion to open the cockpit for Princess Allura. She fits nicely inside because she is so petite. She just slips right in. Stickers for the panels to replicate the computer console on the inside, and of course one last shot of the princess inside of her Blue Lion, and you can see just how tiny she is inside of this massive toy.
And here we have Sven, the MattyCollector.com Club Lion Force exclusive figure. You had to be a subscriber in order to get this. It's the first time they ever made a Sven figure, so it's really, really cool. Love the packaging. It harkens back to the original Voltron toys that were done by Panache Place, which I did have. My brother and I, we had them all, and unfortunately we moved a lot when we were children for my father's job, and we lost a lot of stuff in moves, gave things away, sold things to friends. And Voltron, the Panache Place ones, were casualties of that unfortunate war. This is a great package, though. It looks just like the old figures. Love the holographic Voltron logo, the angular packaging, really, really cool. Picture of Sven in his civvies, and of course he comes in his black pilot uniform, even though he piloted Blue Lion. So see, both pilots of Blue Lion never wore a blue suit. Just saying. Really like the details. I'm not going to open him. Call me a purist, call me what you will. I'm not. Little bio of him on the back. Talks about how he pilots the Blue Lion. And just shows how he fits, how he stands on the base, how he looks with his helmet on. It's a great figure. For those of you that have opened it, I am jealous of you. I'm not. I'm sorry. But it's great for those of you who are part of Club Lion Force, like I was. Yay for Sven, he lives. And we'll move on to Black Lion. And here is Keith, the fifth and final pilot in the MattyCollector.com Club Lion Force Voltron series. And of course he wears the red jumpsuit that pilots the Black Lion. And another really nice figure. I've always liked Keith a lot. I love the red on this costume too. It's a really nice crimson-y red. Really clean figure as well, like Allura before him. He has little to no discoloration on the white sections. There's no bleeding. Again, a really nice sculpt, faithful to the old cartoon show version of the character, all the way down to the boots. Head sculpt is really nice. He is rocking that anime mullet right there, even more so than Lance. Really nice figure, looks just as he should. Also has the removable head, and he comes with his helmeted version for when he's ready to pilot Black Lion. And this is one of the best, I think, of the helmeted heads, too. There's no fogging on the lenses, the eyes are nice and centered. He looks good. Articulation is the same as the other figures as well. I think that goes without saying at this point. Knees, hips, elbows, forearms, shoulders, head, waist. He twists at the waist a little bit. Also has a fake gun on his hip. Nice addition. Nice way to finalize it. Comes with a black key for the Black Lion, which doubles as a stand for him. Really cool. And moving on to the final piece of the Voltron puzzle, Black Lion. And here is Black Lion, the fifth and final lion in the Club Matty Collector, or MattyCollector.com Club Lion Force collection of figures. And he's just massive. He is huge. He's the only one that isn't like another lion. Of course, green and red are similar, and blue and yellow are similar. Black here is completely unique, and he's just enormous. Lots of detail. He is more articulated than the rest, but that still doesn't say a whole lot. There's still pretty limited articulation. He moves in the shoulders a little bit. Once you hit here, you can see all spring-loaded, moves by itself. That's part of the transformation gimmick again. Back legs have a lot more movement, though, and that's attributed to the fact that he has to move as Voltron in this form as well. So you get lots of play in the back for the most part. But the front, once again, pretty limited. His head, too, can only turn like that. Swivel side to side, up and down. It doesn't move because, again, Voltron's head is in the lion's mouth, and it's part of the gimmicky transformation thing. But he is still very nice. The size alone is great. He also has his little weapon, like the classic one here, and his mouth is spring-loaded. There are no notches. Again, that's due to the gimmick. But this fits nicely between his teeth. Also, his cockpit for Keith is located underneath these wings. You have the key slot right there. Bam! And you can just see right there, look how tiny that cockpit is, so you get an idea of the scale of this guy. He is enormous. Really nice, great way to finish it up. The lions are pretty nice overall. It's just a shame, I think they wasted a lot of time on the transformation thing. Better pictures of Keith and Black Lion in a moment, and then on to Voltron.
Keith, the fifth and final pilot, also the red pilot of the Black Lion. Really nice. Love the red on this guy. It's crimson. It really is nice, deep, clean. The white as well is not discolored at all. Really, really nicely done. Has the molded gun on the hip that is non-removable, just like the rest. Also, the belt detail is great. The Lion Force logo on his chest is well done. And his head sculpt is, I think, one of the best, both masked and maskless, or helmet and helmetless. Really cool. Love the black hair. His face is spot on. Even the big ears is right on the money. He is rocking that mullet, man. They really went wild with it, and I think it looks great. And he is probably, I think, the best one with the helmet on. He looks perfect. The visor sits right as it should over the eyes, no cloudiness, no nothing. He also, of course, comes with the black key that acts as a base for him to stand on if you should need it. And finally, the Black Lion, the big king daddy of them all. It is huge, the size of a small baby. You can cradle this thing. It really is ginormous. Completely new sculpt, nothing like the other lions. Great details, great features, love all the different paint. Love the color scheme of this guy a lot. Paneling on the legs, paneling all over the body, honestly. Unfortunately, like all of the other lions, his articulation is extremely lacking. There's not a whole lot you can do with him, and again, that is attributed to the play-action feature that they decided to put in these figures as a gimmick. It's cool for what it is, but it does hinder the articulation quite a bit. Comes with the weapon, of course, that fits into the mouth really nicely. It's one of the nicest looking weapons as well for the lions. And there is really all sorts of great details on this guy. His head sculpt is especially fantastic. It just looks really cool. He looks royal. You know, he looks like the king daddy of the Voltron Force lions. The cockpit, of course, is located on the back underneath those red wings. You just flip those up and the black key slips right into the keyhole. Pop it open, and there is the cockpit inside. His, too, is extremely nicely molded. It is a very unique cockpit. Lots of things going on the inside. Decals for all of the panels on the controls. And, of course, one last shot of Keith in the cockpit of the Black Lion. And again, you can see how huge this figure is. And now, we move on to Voltron.
Voltron, fully formed from MattyCollector.com, part of Club Lion Force, or if you bought each lion individually, here he is, the biggest, craziest Voltron figure I think they've ever made. And it is, for the most part, extremely nice. Again, like the lions, it falls short in the articulation department, and that's because of the transformation gimmick. I mean, I get it. It was a cool idea. They wanted to try and harken back to the old 80s toys that had those features, like He-Man and the whole spring-loaded punch thing, and the fact that these could transform to begin with the old Panache Place version of the lions. That being said, though, he does have some articulation. It's just hard to get him to pose without popping the lions. The shoulders do swing out. He's got the ratchet joints there. The elbows bend, the wrists for the mouths on the lions here, the heads, they twist, of course, and the jaws open so he can hold the weapons, which are also gigantic. The head twists up here, but does not go up and down. You can see when you go up and down, it closes the jaw on Black Lion, because that's part of the gimmick. So you do lose some head articulation. He twists at the wrists, twists at the waist, which surprised me, actually. I think that's really cool. And then the legs, too, have some motion. He moves at the knees a little bit. It's a little stiff. He swivels at the waist there, and he moves at the hips on both sides as well. No ankles, though, because, again, gimmicking the lion's feet, so the heads don't have a whole lot of motion. And that would help with posability a lot if he had a little bit more going on in the feet. He's pretty stable. Mine is better than most, I suppose. It's my table's a little lopsided right now. There we go. But he doesn't have a whole lot of trouble standing, honestly. Overall, he's pretty nice. Is he for everybody? No. But he is cool for what he is. I consider myself lucky to be a part of this collection. I'm very happy I could get in on it. Talk a little more about him in a second with some better pictures.
Before we get to Voltron, I thought I'd show all the accessories really fast. Here, of course, we have a shot of all the keys to the different lions. A shot of the individual weapons that each lion came with. A quick shot of Voltron's shield that was included with Black Lion, and this is a fantastic piece, beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted. It's a soft rubber, so it's not going to break on you. It does bend quite a bit, except for the handle, which is plastic and fits very well in Green Lion's mouth. And if you want to know how I customed the stands to hold the shield, click on the link provided here that'll take you to my Blazing Sword Stand custom video, and I'll show you how to do it. Voltron's sword, unblazed, came with Black Lion also, snapped together, holds together very well, fits really well in Red Lion's mouth. Nicely painted, it is what it is, it's pretty simple, really large, a couple little nicks and things here and there, but overall, very nice. And finally, a quick shot of the Blazing Sword, and of course it came in 5 pieces. Each piece came with one of the 5 pilots. You snap it all together, and here it is. Great deco, looks like it's blazing, on fire, or electrified. Love the energy around the outside. It's a translucent, soft, yellow rubber. Great effect, little top-heavy when he's holding it, but a really nice piece. On to Voltron, who really looks incredible. I have to say, every lion, when they are transformed into their proper shapes, legs and arms and torso and all of that, it does look perfect. It looks exactly like it used to on the show. The coloration, the way the lions fold up. I like the fact that they included heels to help stabilize him. They could have done a little bit more, though. He is extremely top-heavy. That's one of my complaints on the guy, to be honest with you. But the level of detail is very nice. It especially shows off in the torso section of Black Lion. The belt is great, the waist section, his upper body is really nice. There's great details on the paneling, especially the crest on the center of the chest. Really well detailed. And I like the fact that all 5 lion colors are represented there as well. The wings are cool when they're outstretched and unfolded. There's great details, neat paneling, clean paint for the most part. Some nicks, some scratches, things here and there, but it's stuff that I generally expect. It's not going to come out perfect. The head is really cool too. I do love the face sculpt. Again, that's Black Lion for you. The mouth is cool. I love the headpiece, and as I said, the face of Voltron is really great. It has the third eye in the center of the forehead, the blue and the silver and the black. All really nice, really clean, well done. From the back, of course, you're going to see a lot of the different things. You know, it's going to be ugly because they have to put the gunk somewhere. But it's not atrocious. You can see, you know, Black Lion's tail and all sorts of different things. But it's actually pretty clean compared to some other things. Overall, he's very nice. He's huge, absolutely huge. That's something I do want to show you really fast. Is some shots of him next to some other figures. Here, of course, he is with the pilots at his feet. And you can see right there, they're 3 3/4 inch for the most part, and they're just dwarfed by him. So you can get some idea. Here's one of my Batman figures. That's an 8-inch Batman figure from the Superman Batman Public Enemies series that DC put out a few years ago. Again, totally dwarfing him. And here we go, Optobotomus, I hope you're watching this. This is my Brave Maximus figure from Car Robots Transformers, the Takara line. And this was the biggest toy in my collection. Now, almost, well, he's a little smaller than Voltron. And one last shot of the two of them along with a half-gallon of milk. Just to give you an idea, that's a half-gallon of milk and a can of soda. So I just want you to get an idea of how huge this guy is. The good stuff, I really love his size. I love his look. He's not as unposable as you would think. He does have a pretty decent range of motion. Here's some shots I took of him posed with his weaponry as well. So you can see he does hold it very well. And I use the blazing sword in the shots just because I want you to see the heavier of the two so you know it can be done. It's neat having someone to fight against Brave Maximus now, too. Had to put a shot of the two of them fighting each other. I also like to play around and put the weapons that the lions came with in his hands, like daggers or throwing weapons or something. I like to use those when I'm posing him sometimes. It's really cool. And, of course, another shot with both of the swords. Overall, I really do like this guy. I think he's great, well worth the money. Are there problems with him? Yes, he does have some major problems that have been talked about. The play mechanism is the biggest one. If that hadn't been included, there could have been so much more articulation on this guy. My green and blue lions have a lot of issues with the mechanisms too. When you're trying to move him, when you're trying to pose him, especially in Voltron form, well, only in Voltron form, of course, they pop. The limbs will just pop out on their own, the legs. It's unfortunate, but I get what they were going for. I just wish they had thought twice about it and had decided to give us more articulation, more range of movement over a play feature. But I really love this set. It's great having them all. I really love all the pilots together. It's a fantastic collection. For those of you who are lucky enough to be a part of Club Lion Force and get everything, including Sven, yay, one of the few in the proud. I'm happy to be a part of it. Mattel, I think, did a great job. Matty Collector, wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for bringing this to us. I know I've been waiting for a long, long time to sort of recapture the magic that those Panache Place toys had for me when I was growing up. And I think this collection, I think Mattel and you guys out there, you did a fantastic job of capturing that for me. So for that, I thank you. And I think most of the collectors out there that got this line feel the same way, despite the flaws that are present. Wonderful series. Hope you had a chance to get it. If not, good luck on the aftermarket. Some of this stuff is very pricey. I really like it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little different from me. If you dug it, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, comments are welcome and appreciated, and be sure to check out my regular reviews featuring the DC Eagle Moss lead figure collectibles. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I think the people that check it out like it for the most part. And yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in to Voltron from MattyCollector.com, part of Club Lion Force. Fantastic series. Hope you have enjoyed this. As always, I'm your host, the Monkey Boy, aka Jay to his friends. Thanks for watching.